All right. Anyway, we started the club visioning process in our district in 2012, and a group of us went through a training process, learned how to do it, and started with any club that wanted us to come in. And so far we've done 31, actually 30, but we have another one scheduled in November, Shelbyville. So we've done almost half the clubs in the district. In fact, raise your hand if your club has had club visioning come through. It should be about half, almost half. So afterwards you can talk to those people about did it work and what did you like about it. Here are the list of clubs. We did about 8 or 9 in 2012. You'll probably find your club there somewhere. 2013 we did another 8 or 9. About one a month is what we were doing. 2014 it started drifting off a little bit. Had a good year in 2015. And you can see like the Oak Ridge Sunset Club asked us to come back a second time, so some of them have started recycling in the club visioning process. They liked it so well the first time we came back, and the same with Bearden, came back a second time. So far 2016 has been kind of slim. We're getting ready to do Shelbyville, and your club can be next. So we have plenty of room and time available. What is it? How does it work? A group of 3 or 4 of us come in for a 4-hour session. It could be at night, it could be on a Saturday morning, one day. You pick the day, whatever time works best for you. Usually 5 to 9 or 5:30 to 9:30 is typical. And we'd like to have at least 12 members there just to have enough input for it to be meaningful. But we don't like it to be more than about 28. There's only so much you can do with a large group. So that size group works well. All the club has to do is to provide a light meal, because we have that during the session, and provide a few supplies. So it's hardly any expense to the club. And then 3 or 4 of us come in and take you through a really good process. It's a lot of fun and it's very productive. So,
could you speak up? We're not 100% sure your microphone's on and not everyone can hear you.
okay, I will try to speak up. Here's what it is. It's seeing where your club would like to go in the next 5 years and where it can go, and get consensus on that among your members. At the end of the night, you will have a set of goals. You'll reach consensus on a set of goals in about 11 different areas of Rotary. The typical areas that you're used to, like club service, international service, community service, fundraising, public relations. We cover all of those areas in the night. We're very busy. And you don't come out of that night with a plan, but you come out of the night with a vision that you can develop a plan based on, okay? So you can come back later and talk about action plans and who's going to do what when to flesh out what we did that night. Why do you need it? Well, if your club is like mine, and most of them, you kind of go through, you get kind of in a rut, kind of a tradition of doing the same thing every year, and you set goals based on what we did last year, and the next president does the same thing, but you don't have a lot of continuity over time, over 5 years. And you may not have a lot of consensus about what you should be doing in the next 5 years. So hopefully that's what the vision will prevent, is just doing the same thing over and over again. Here's what Yogi Berra says about planning, one of our great philosophers of our time. Can you see that? If you don't know where you're going, chances are you'll end up someplace else. That's Yogi. Can't you just hear him saying that? There's a visual about what happens when you don't plan. You can be working awfully hard, can't you? But if you don't know where you're going, it could be a problem. But here's a visual that talks about, or that shows what our club should be doing and hopefully will be doing. Everybody pulling in the same direction at the same time with a common goal. So that's kind of the goal for all of us as clubs. Here's just a few comments about what clubs have said. Yes, Debbie?
Since we've got so many people in here who have done club visioning, I think we should ask them what they think club visioning did for their club.
I think so too. Here are some comments that we've gotten in our evaluations. And who'd like to say anything about your club visioning experience? Right here.
And
Jack.
And I see all kinds of people. Go for it.
Jack?
I think we had our club visioning about 3 years ago or so, and everybody was so excited. We threw so many projects and ideas out there. Some of them we didn't use, but there were a few big fundraisers. I mean, I remember that night throwing out, we need to have a music festival. Well, we just had our first music festival in May, and we netted about $15,000. And it wasn't
Right.
a lot of planning involved with that. Just hire some bands. You'd be surprised when you ask a band, you tell them it's a Rotary fundraiser, they'll give you a really good price. And in spite of the bad weather, we had terrible weather, and we still raised $15,000. We're going to probably make at least 25 next year.
Wow. And it came out of the visioning process.
Came out of the vision.
How big is your club?
We got about 60 members.
Yeah, not very big. Ed? What did you
Ed Anderson, I'm from the Rotary Club of Knoxville, and we did our visioning 2 years ago. We had a larger group than Fred suggested, and I remember Dick Hinton told us don't have any more than 30 people. We had about 50, and I remember the look on Dick's face, and the secretary and I just told him, Dick, don't worry, it's going to be fine. The process, I'll tell you kind of what it was. You started out the visioning session with an awards application of what your club has just received the greatest award you can achieve in Rotary. What did you do to achieve it? And there's a breakout session on fundraising, membership, every category of Rotary service. And so we wrote down, each individual person wrote down what projects we thought it would take to get us there. And then after about, I guess it was 30 minutes or so, we put up big Post-it note spreadsheets, and no idea was too crazy, just throw them out there. And once we got all the ideas out there, then we got to vote with little red and blue dots. And one thing that was very telling for me is I thought I had great ideas about how to run the club or suggested projects, and you'd see your project up there alongside every other, and the people in your club would give it 2 votes, or maybe you're the only person that voted for it. And you see something that, wow, I wish I'd thought of that. That was a fantastic idea. And so it was a way to build consensus in your club. It was also a way that cut down on the complaining about the projects we did, because the projects now have the backing of, a lot of people in the club. And we just had 2 weeks ago, we had our 2-year follow-up, basically, from the club visioning. And we talked about where we are, because it's a 5-year plan. And we were making more than 3/4 of the goals. We were hitting those goals, and we have a plan to make up the other 25%. The place we did it was at the conference room of a bank, and it wasn't a conference room with a round table. It was a lot of small chairs that we could move around and set up for our situation. If you have 12 people, just do it at somebody's, you could do it in somebody's living room if you wanted to. I can't encourage you that if you don't do anything else this year in your club, do a visioning if you haven't done one. And the club will drive itself after you do it.
Right.
Okay, there's my testimony.
That's very good. Very good. One other thing that Ed's club did, which he didn't mention, they have really restructured their whole committee structure based on the club visioning plan. They've gotten rid of committees and maybe added some, I'm not sure, but they've kind of retooled the whole club based on club visioning, which is what you really hope for. Anybody else want to speak? Yes.
I'm Bill Brown from Cleveland. We did ours last year, and I echo what everyone else has said, but I think one of the most valuable aspects of ours was that so often the direction of a club is managed and thought and developed by the board, which is a relatively small number of people in our club. Because of the visioning session, we had everybody come in, and suddenly everybody was obtaining ownership in the direction of the club and what the club was interested in and excited about and bought into what our goals and ambitions were. So
Yeah.
it's an ability for you to expand ownership in your club by having this vision.
Very good, very good. Okay, I guess we better move on. There's just one club's comments about what they liked about it, including Rotary Club of Knoxville there at the bottom. Any questions? I do have a handout that I can give you that you can refer back to. Question? Yeah.
Could we have that in place in a regular meeting?
You could, depending on when your meeting
Well, we
takes
would
place.
attend lunch.
Yeah, I don't know why not. Of course, it'd be a 4-hour meeting.
Well, okay.
But we've never done that, but we could.
We think we should do something, you gotta make something special.
If you can stay within those numbers. Okay, any other questions? There is more information on the handout and also on the website, including a little video that demonstrates some of the things that you actually would do there.
Fred's contact information is on the screen. Get in touch with him. We have a whole team of very skilled facilitators that will come out and help you with your visioning. Just a testimony from me, I think none of the other clubs were small clubs. My Kingston club is small. It really helped us to find that our focus is on everything that has to do with youth and education. We really don't do anything else overseas or here except focus on youth. And it pulled us together to realize that we all had that same vision of what we wanted our club to do.